Hello guys, so today we're going to be learning on how to make a propaganda campaign system from a tile set. So what is a tile set? Let me bring it up right now. So this is a tile set. The first image is the blank poster, the one we see right here, and each image after that is a propaganda poster. So for example, when we press run poster A, pick out a poster from this propaganda, and this is A, this is the first one. If we press B, that will be the second one, C, D, E, F, H, and then we remove the poster. So we're going to be learning on how to make a system like this, make it work, and make it work with the tile set. So this is kind of an advanced modding tutorial for people who know how to already kind of know how to mod. This will not only be a GUI tutorial, this will also cover aspects like variables, the tile set. What the tile set is, again, basically each image in it is spaced exactly like this would be the same as this, and then in the sprite type we divide it, and I'm going to show you how to do this just very soon. The first step is obviously to create a new mod. So let's go. I already have mine created, but we're going to create a new one and do this together. So create a mod, Propoganda version 0.1 mod tutorial or whatever, and then I put a bunch of numbers in front so I can find it. This doesn't really matter, it's a graphics mod, it's a gameplay mod. Today we're just going to learn like the basics, and let's go to the directory. So here it is, our mod under users, documents, products, interactive, Hoi4 mod. We go here, we look through all our mods we have, and we find our mod. We're going to need the GUI itself. This is very important, obviously. So we need to create a new GUI. This new GUI will be put in the interface .gui file. So basically how a scripted GUI works is that you create a GUI, the visual part, and you put it in the interface folder, and then in common scripted GUIs you define how it should work in game. Without this defining, it won't work. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's make the interface. Create a new text file. This will be our GUI. Simple propaganda. And not .text, but .gui. Enter. Perfect. Now we go inside. It should open in Visual Studio Code. The Visual Studio Code, it is the best editor that I use. What we do now, we type in GUI types, a GUI types block. So this block basically defines that we're going to be putting GUI types there. That's just something we need to do. And now we do the container. The container is basically what's going to be visible. The container defines how big the container is going to be and how we can access it. We're going to give it a name, and that's how our scripted GUI knows where to access it. Type. This is again a block, obviously. And yes, so inside of this we need a name for the container that we're going to be accessing in the scripted GUI folder. So let's type a name here. Let's call it simple. Perfect. This will be very important. We are going to be accessing it in common scripted GUIs, but you can have one container window type into another. Let's see how this would look. Something like this. But then you couldn't access it. You couldn't access this one with the scripted GUI. So if you need to access something in the scripted GUI, you need to make sure it's independent of any other containers. It's just under GUI types. We have the name. We also need the position. Position is just an XY position. Very simple. We're going to be putting this in a decision category. So we need an X position. X position will be 0. Y position would be 0, because it's just going to be put in the decisions. So yeah, that's the easiest. size. Let's see, size. Let's do something like this. Now, I think that is usual for decisions 200 and 200. I might be wrong, but the height is what matters, you know, the width. I think it's decided by the decisions anyways. If you're going to put it in decisions, you should do 200. I could be wrong about that, but yeah. Now comes the important part. This is something we're also going to be accessing in the scripted GUI, and it's going to be the slot where we're going to put our propaganda. So it's going to be an icon type. Perfect. We need to name it also. Important. We're going to have to access that. Simple slot. We need a position again. We need it kind of in the middle, so wait, what the hell? So I guess we do 200. If we do it logically, it should be 100, but it is actually 200 in the middle. So the decisions might actually be 400 in width. But yeah, I'm not sure. I think width is decided by the decision box, anyways. And now we need the sprite type. This is going to be very important. We're going to be defining this later, and this is our tile set, and we will have to, you know, split up our tile set. But we're going to do this in a .gfx file, the splitting up, so the game knows which frame is which. gfx underscore simple propaganda, you know, tile set. Perfect. So, and the frame, we're going to be changing this in the common scripted GUI anyways, the frame, but it's important to put, you know, a fallback frame here for if it fails, then it still shows something, so we know if it, you know, worked, you know. Okay, so this is our GUI done. Now we could either go straight to scripting our GUI, or we should, in my opinion, like to define the GFX better. But to define the GFX, we need a GFX folder. So let's go, GFX, inside, GFX interface, and let's drag in our tile set. I'll have this tile set linked somewhere. It's not mine. I got it from a mod, a very good propaganda posters mod. You can use anything. You just need to make sure that each frame is exactly spaced from the last, you know. If there are 15 posters, then the game should be able to split it in 15 parts perfectly, and the first poster should be a blank one, just like I showed you earlier. I mean, I can go in right now. Let's see. Oh. Let's see. This is the blank one, and these are all our posters that we're going to be using, you know, and they are evenly spaced apart. You can see. See, 9.5. If we do it here again, 9.5, you know, the bounding rectangle size. You don't have to do this manually. I think there are, you know, apps that can combine images together, or you can just turn on the grid. You know, you go into Photoshop, you turn on a grid, and then it should be easy to do this. So we're not going to do this ourselves. So now we can do our GFX. Let's call it something simple propaganda. .gfx. GFX. Perfect. Go inside. And now this is going to be very important. So first, sprite types. We need a sprite types block for everything we're going to put inside. Now we define the sprite type. What the sprite type is basically, it tells the game where to find the image we need. So we need the image that is in our interface folder. Where is it? Here. You have the image in our GFX interface, so we need to tell the game how to find it. So we define the sprite type block here, and now we tell the game what it is. We need a name for it. Name equals simple prop. We're going to be using a texture file, and now we need to tell the game where we put our tile set. So it is in gfx/interface and it is called simple propaganda tile set, and it is very important to add what it is. If it is DDS, TGA, I don't even know if the TGA would work with the tile set, not sure, might have to test it out someday, but yeah. Now this is very important. We need to define the number of frames the image has, the number of frames it uses. So we have 15 images here. Let me show you real quick. So this is going to be frame 1, and this would be frame 2. See? And the frame 1 is our blank frame. The frame 2 has something inside of it, and all of these are frames. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15. We have 15. Sorry, my mistake. We have 15 frames. So, and they are all evenly spaced. So here, obviously don't type frame 1, frame 2 on your image. Here we will define how many frames the image has. The game will be able to access these frames, and the game will create the frames for us. It will divide the image in 15 equal parts. What we need to do, number of frames equals 15. This defines that we have 15 frames in our image. This is perfect. We copy this, we'll need it for later, and we save. Perfect. We have this defined. Now we can get to making our scripted GUI. Here. And now in our command folder, what we will need to do is first create the scripted GUIs. Perfect, this is the scripted GUIs folder. So this is where the magic happens, as they say. We will actually be able to change the frame here, depending on a variable. We will be able to make the GUI appear. We will be able to define it in a decision category, where it shows up. So this is like the most, I wouldn't say important part, but the key to making it work, Simple propaganda scripted GUI. Perfect, and it's going to be just a text file, Okay, let's actually open it with Visual Studio Code. Opening things in Notepad is like kind of stupid. So yeah, and now we need to type in that it's a scripted GUI. So this is going to be very important. This is where we name our scripted GUI, and we will later access this in the common decision category, so it actually shows up. So let's type in. This is going to be a block that is going to contain everything we need to know about our GUI. So the context type. The context type is basically where it is, shown. For example, player underscore context would be just, it floating around. The player can access it, and the decision underscore category context type, which we're going to be using today, is going to put the GUI inside of a decision category. So let's type it, context type, decision category. Perfect. Now a window name. The window name is very important, you see. So let's go back and double check it. We go to interface, we go to our GUI. This is what we made. This is our epic container. So this is the name. This is the name where we define it. So we Control C our name, and now to here we enter it. That's the window name done. We now have named our window. I know it's very exciting. So let's go to the other very important part. So right now what the game has, it knows that we have made a GUI, it knows the window, so it will even display it once we put it in a decision category. But what it doesn't know, how the frames should come into the play with this. So right now we need to type properties, and inside, this is where the magic happens. We need to get our slot name again. I'm not going to go back, I know the slot name, but if you want to, you can double check it in the .gui. This is our icon type name. It's simple underscore slot. This is going to be a block. So this will define the properties of the simple slot we made. I'll be right back, guys. Sorry guys, I had to go answer a phone call, so I have no idea where we stayed. So we have properties right now, we have the simple slot. Now we need to define what image we use and what frame we use. So the image is going to be the localization key I mentioned. Oh my god. So image, let's name it something. So this will define the localization key. By this, I mean the thing I'm going to type when I find it on the keyboard. These two epic lines. This is going to define that it's a localization key. So let's go in here and let's type the localization key. We haven't made one yet, so we can type it here. So we copy this, Control C, and we go here and we make a localization. Localization. English. And now we do let's go to base game files. These are the base game files. If you want to access the base game files, you go here, manage, browse local files. I have them already pinned. So we go here, we go English, we go, let's copy anything, go into that file, open the file here. We need this English part, everything else we delete. Press tab once. Now we got to typing, I guess. So as we defined it, we need the, this is how we defined it, the simp title set. We now need to define the path where our thing is, where our tileset is. We define the sprite type, so we can path to the interface folder, and now we define a localization that we use to path to the, so don't call it abilities all English, let's call it something normal, like simple scripted localization YML. Why not? So what we need to do, interface GFX. If we forgot how we named it, I didn't, but let's see. This is what we named it. Control C, exit this, go into here, paste it here, simple scripted localization. It should look exactly like this. Well, not exactly like this if you're using a different sprite app. I just showed you where you need to find everything. So log in. This is, we defined the path. Perfect. We have the path defined. Now we have the path defined. This will work. This is perfect. Now what we need to do is the frame. So how on earth are we going to get the frame? So the frame, we have 15 frames. We could put it here. This would use the second frame, you know, the man that says zip it. This would use the first frame, you know, the blank one. But we need to change it with decisions, change it with effects. If we want to change it with effects, we're going to have to use variables. So we need to use the variable. So first we type root. This will scope the variable. Root is the country that is currently accessing this. So if the USA were to access this system, then it would be them who is changing the variable. And if Japan were to access the variable, it would be them changing it. If you don't type in root here, if you don't scope in root, then anybody would be changing each other's propaganda systems, and that would, you know, be chaos. So we scope a variable by putting the scope and putting a dot, root dot, and now it's time for the variable. The variable will name something simple, like simple slot frame. This is very important. This is our variable here. This is it right here. We copy that, Control C that. So this is the scripted GUI done actually. Congratulations. Let's make it look a little bit more pretty. Save it. So again, this gets the image. The image we just defined in the localization file. The image, that is our sprite type, that is our tileset. This gets the frame. The frame is the root countries, the countries that you're playing, variable of the simple slot frame. Perfect. This is perfect. Now it's time to create the decisions and the decision category. Now we go into common and we make a new folder, call it perfect. And now we need a categories folder, we need to define the category. Perfect. And now inside of the categories, we'll need a new text file. So we go inside of this file. Now I opened it in Visual Studio. How to open it in Visual Studio? Install Visual Studio, open with Visual Studio. Very easy, very good. Now the epic part. We need to define the category. This is going to be very easy. Think of a name for your category. For me, it's going to be simple. So how a normal category should look. It has an icon. We'll just use a base game one. We go inside of here. We do the, oh my god, we don't go inside of there. We go inside of Visual Studio, for fuck. Well, allowed. When it's allowed. I mean, we're going to do this for just showcase purposes. So we're just going to set it to always equals yes. Now the scripted GUI. This is a scripted GUI. It uses very important. Guys, look at this. If you go here, go back to your GUI. This is the GUI name, the one that has the window name in it. We need to use the GUI name, the scripted GUI name we just did. Copy that, perfect. Paste it in here, perfect. Now the priority. This is even more easy. This is just the priority. Priority is how far up it is shown. So for example, if we want it at the top for every single country in every single case, we have to do something like 1,000. If we want it at the bottom, we do it like a 1. Let's do it at 1,000 so we can instantly see it. So the decisions will obviously use the category. Copy that real quick. We go to common decisions. We have the category. We need the decisions. We need the decisions text file. Now this time I won't forget to open it in Visual Studio. So this is like where the magic happens. But if we want an easier way to set the decisions, we'll need to. We're going to leave the decisions away for a while. We're going to do scripted effects now. Or just effects. You like need to chain multiple effects together, and so it's not a hassle every time. You just do a simple scripted effect that you can always call. For example, this is a random on control state effect. No, for example, if you need to replace Civ with arms factories, you already have this. You wouldn't have to type all of this. Like you would have to type all of this in the decision, but instead of doing that, you just type this equals yes, and that's your scripted effect. So let's make our own. We need this so we don't have to type equals every time. So what we're going to be doing, we're going to have a variable that changes the frame. It's going to be different from the one that we set in our scripted GUI. We have a frame. It is our simple slot frame. Now, how we're going to get this frame is we're going to make a new variable called simple frame to set. Let's see. This is going to be our new variable. This is going to be our new variable, and we need an effect to get this variable to correspond to this variable. So we're going to do it in a scripted effect. Let's open it in Visual Studio. Now let's type. Now the effect will be, this is going to be our effect. What this effect will do is we're going to set, this is the effect, underscore variable equals our last variable. This is the variable that is in our scripted GUI. See, it's common scripted GUIs. This is the variable. You can even copy it. Boom. This is the variable. And we need it to be equal to a new variable. Root dot simple slot frame to set. This is the frame to set. So the simple set poster will basically set variable. We will set this variable manually and then use this effect to make it the same as this one. For just easy access, we're going to make a clear variable. A clear variable will set the poster away and set it to the first image in the tile set. So we do another set variable, not this one obviously, equals 1. Simple slot frame equals 1. We need to go to our decisions, and we have the simple propaganda decisions here. We need to open it, Visual Studio Code. Perfect, let's open it. And you guys are in luck, because this is actually the last part that we will actually be doing, you know, that makes it function, you know. Everything else is just, you know, localization. So the category, we get the category. Category is basically like a folder, and now right now in this folder we have our scripted GUI, but also in here we're going to define the decisions this folder is going to have. Perfect, this is our category. Make a decision to change the poster. So this is a decision. This will show up in game as a decision. We all know how a decision looks, I hope. So the icon. Now we need an allowed block. And the cost. Cost is how much political power it costs. Now it will cost 25 political power. Now we go to the important part. The complete underscore effect. Set underscore variable. What we're going to be setting, guys, so listen up. This is our decision. We want our decision to get the man that says zip it, and this is our epic man that says zip it. This is frame 1, this is frame 2. What we're going to be doing, we're going to be setting the variable simple frame to set that variable we just made to 2. Then we're going to do our scripted effect. Simple set poster to set this variable that we're going to set manually to be the same as this variable. This variable is the one that is accessed in the common scripted GUI, in the properties. So it will dynamically change the GFX. Root dot, again, explain what root is. Hope you all remember. Simple frame to set equals 2. Right now we have set this variable to 2, but it won't do anything because we don't access this variable. We need to use our scripted effect. Called simple set poster to make this variable the same as the variable that's actually going to be accessed. Yes, perfect. Now, this decision will actually, so it will set the epic image that we have. So let's go in game, let's test it out, let's see. This. We have our simple propaganda category. This is the first frame. If we give ourselves political power, we click this. What? Okay guys, so we actually got an error here. Unexpected token, scripted GUI, near line 8 in file common decision categories. Sorry guys. Scripted GUI, not whatever the fuck I wrote there. Okay guys, my bad again. I misspelled something again. It's a sim set poster, not simp set poster. Oh, let's see. Oh, I have messed up my variables. So This is simple slot frame, and this is simple frame to slot, not simple slot frame to set. Just make this change and it should work. Simple slot frame, simple frame to set. Oh my god! Oh my god, how have I misspelled it here also? What? What? Okay guys, if it doesn't work now, I'm just going to never upload this video. So if you're watching this, that means it worked, by the way, so let's actually wait. I want the suspense. Let's wait for us to get the 25 political power, yeah. Oh my god, thank you, God, thank you. Yes, it works. Oh my god, I'm so happy. So sorry about that. As we know, as you know, you should know what fixes I did. Firstly, I had here misspelled it. I had sim set poster, not simp. You need simp. Here we maybe had an error. I don't remember. We need also it should be simp here, and simple slot frame root. This is. Everything is technically correct, what I told you. You know, everything is correct, except I misspelled the spelling. Messed up the spelling. So, yeah, if you run into any errors, check your spelling. Some things might be incorrect. I mean, the game usually tells you when something is incorrect, but in the case of variables, it can be quite tricky, because, you know, a variable can be named anything, and the game doesn't know what you're trying to do, you know? So if right here we, like, misspell it like that, the game will just look for a variable with the name of SDIMP, you know? But yeah, it works perfectly. Now, we just need to make all of the other posters. But we're going to have to change a few key things. By a few, I mean just one. So the second poster would be complete effect, root simple frame to set 2. We need to set it to 3. As you remember, frame 1 is the empty frame. This is the first image, this is the third image. This GUI tutorial, propaganda posters. So this is linked. This literally tells you everything you need to do. So you click subscribe to this one. You need to go to Steam Apps, Workshop, Content, Hoi4. For me, Hoi4 is this one. Maybe for you too, 394360. We go here, and you need to go to your latest download. And it should be the thing we've downloaded, you know, my mod that explains everything in detail, everything I'm doing. So, yay, it's poster 1, poster 2, poster 3, poster 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, clear, boom, all of them work. This is perfect. This is how we make a simple propaganda system. So, yeah, this thank you for watching this tutorial. I hope you learned something, you know, learned something useful about this tutorial. Good luck guys. I hope you all have fun, you know. So yeah. Oh no, we're at war. We need to set a poster. Yay, this poster does something. Oh, we're losing. Oh damn.